This girl was swimming in the middle of nowhere for the first time, but it almost cost her life. When she came up, she suddenly realized a $100 bill floating on the river. Excited, she immediately grabbed the money, but when she looked up, she realized it was just the tip of the iceberg. There are many more floating in front of her. Just when she thought she had met the god of wealth, suddenly she found a few black handbags floating on the shore. At that moment, she was already overwhelmed by money. She didn't care about her fear. She picked up the money and swam to the shore. Unexpectedly, when she opened the handbags, she was completely dumbfounded, only to see that these handbags are all filled with money. She estimated that the money inside at least 8 million. She didn't have time to think about it, so she rushed to carry the money to the yacht. But then Roy, who had come along for the adventure, noticed something wrong with her. The girl had no choice but to tell the truth about the 8 million she had just found. She said she'd give him half of the money if they took it home. While Roy was happy, his companion Mark overheard their plan, so that he wouldn't get caught in the crossfire. Mark wouldn't get involved. He insisted on going home alone, but on his way out, he ripped the strap off his handbag and tied it to his own school bag. Unbeknownst to him, it was this act that got them into trouble. While Mark was carrying his school bag down the mountain, the man who lost his handbag saw the yellow strap on his bag. Realizing that his bag must have fallen into his hands, the man immediately chased after Mark. There is no doubt, these three young people will soon be in trouble. A man and a woman picked up $8 million in banknotes and immediately left. But when they came to a deserted place, they froze, because they had found 4 handbags but now only 3 were left. After realizing that one of them must have fallen into the water by mistake, the girl was so angry that she almost fainted, because this bag is almost 2 million. But after thinking about it, 6 million is actually enough to spend. They hurriedly put on the equipment ready to leave here. But then the owner of the bag came to them, seeing that their companion, Mark, had fallen into his hands, and he had a gun in his hand. The 2 men were so scared that they took out their handbags, but then the man's enemy suddenly jumped at them. The man was so scared that he shot him in the face and killed him. Seeing the owner of the handbag was frozen in place, 3 people hurriedly pushed the speedboat to the river. Get on the speedboat with the handbag and start to run away desperately. Unbeknownst to them, this action completely angered the owner of the handbag. See him without saying a word, he took out a sniper rifle from the boot. He wanted to kill them all, but since he hadn't played sniper for years, he shot a box of bullets but failed to hit them. Even their speedboat didn't get hurt. After realizing that they couldn't stay in the river, they hurriedly rowed the speedboat to the shore. Then they hid in the forest full of trees. They thought that they would be able to escape, but they were too nervous. The money in the bag fell all away. The owner followed the money on the ground, soon found their trail. Even though they had been running for half a day, the man did not give up. In the end, they had no choice but to hide in an air raid shelter. They thought they'd be safe there, but unexpectedly, the man soon caught up with them. Obviously the man wanted his money back no matter what. This man flew a plane for the first time. The plane broke down. He had no choice but to open the door. He jumped out of the plane with his $8 million in cash. Unexpectedly in the air, the handbag suddenly deviated from the track and fell into the river. Luckily, the man soon realized that the bag had been picked up by 3 young men. He wanted his money back, but the young men played hide and seek with him and hid in an air raid shelter. They climbed all the way to the air raid shelter. They thought they could avoid this man through the shelter, but they didn't have long to go before they realized that a tree branch was blocking their way. Luckily, the girl realized she had a knife on her. After cutting down the trees, they soon found a way to escape, but there was only room for 1 person. Just as Roy was about to make his way through, but he was too fat and got stuck. Just then, this man also entered the shelter. He got his leg stuck in a branch. The man pulls on his leg. The girl on the other side of the tree is also trying to pull Roy's neck as hard as she can. She didn't realize that Roy's neck would be broken with a click. Realizing the situation, the 2 of them rushed to escape. Soon they came to an open construction hole. As there was only 1 rope up, the girl climbed up first, but as Mark was climbing up, the girl suddenly wanted to take the money for herself. She cut the rope with a knife. She thought that after she cut the rope, the man wouldn't be able to catch up with her. But when the girl opened the window and tried to escape from the shelter, the man pulled her back. When she heard the man say he just wanted the money back, the girl immediately put on a bitter show. While the man was listening attentively, suddenly there was a figure behind him. It turns out that the girl just used a delaying tactic. As the newly awakened Mark knocked the man unconscious, the girl immediately picked up an iron bar and frantically hit the man. She sent him to the other world. I thought that after they escaped from here, we'll share the money in the bag, but then the girl's greed suddenly kicked in. She shot her best friend Mark, who had been with her for years. At the end of the story, no one was safe from the girl. She took the money home alone and lived happily ever after.